Have you ever scrolled through Zillow daydreaming about what $1 million could really get you? We all do it, right? But here's the thing. That magic number, a cool million, means something completely different depending on where you're looking. And today, we're putting that to the test in one of Massachusetts' most diverse and charming regions, Worcester County. That's right, we're diving deep into the Massachusetts real estate market, specifically in Worcester County, to see what kind of dream home you can snag for a cool $1 million. And let me tell you, the results might surprise you. We're not just talking about houses, though. We're talking about the lifestyle that comes with them. The towns, the amenities, the commute, basically the whole package. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn everything you can about Worcester County or any of the surrounding areas, then subscribe below and you can be one of the first to learn about the current market in Worcester County. My name is Steve D'Angelo, and I've lived in the area for over 25 years, and I love helping people make their move to Worcester County or any of the surrounding areas. Whether it's in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to reach out. My contact info is in the description, and I'd be happy to help you make that smooth move to Central Mass. And remember, call Steve, and we will achieve. Today, we are focused on what can you actually get for $1 million in Worcester County. So why Worcester County, you ask? Well, it's a fantastic blend of historic charm, modern convenience, and stunning New England landscapes. Plus, it offers a really interesting cross-section of communities, from more rural and spread out to bustling and well-connected. And that's exactly what we're going to highlight today. I've handpicked 3 distinct towns within Worcester County. That's Southborough, Grafton, and Leicester. And we're going to walk you through a $1 million property in each one. We'll break down exactly what you get for your money, square footage, the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the all-important garage, the primary suite, and of course, how much land you're getting to call your own. But it's not just about bricks and mortar. I'm also going to explore what each town brings to the table. We're talking about shopping, those local hotspots everyone raves about, and perhaps most importantly, for many of you commuters out there, what your daily drive might look like. Okay, are you ready to see if your $1 million dream home exists in Worcester County? Because I'm going to tell you, this is going to be an eye-opener. We're going to see how far $1 million stretches and what kind of compromises or incredible perks you might find in each of these unique communities. So I found a property in Southborough, and this one is on the market for $900,000. It's interesting in Southborough. It's either going to be right around the 900 or 9 something, or it's going to be over $1 million. So at this price point, you're looking at, this is your standard like 2,000, 2,100 square foot home, 4 bedroom, 2.5 baths, probably 8 rooms, 2-car garage. Now, this is a pretty standard type of home for Southborough in this price range. Oftentimes, you're gonna find a house like this not in not in one of those, cul-de-sac communities, maybe on a country road. I will say Southborough does have a lot of country roads, so it's probably more common to see those types than your cul-de-sac neighborhoods, although they both exist. These houses are not going to be brand new. This is definitely not a new construction price point in Southborough. You're talking, maybe in the 800s, in the 80s. So, we're looking at, in that ballpark, the 1980s, 1990s, probably something like that. Now, all that being said, in Southborough, you can definitely find price points that are lower than this. Of course, the houses are going to be smaller. There are smaller home neighborhoods in Southborough that do exist, but for the $1 million price point, this is what you're looking at. Now, the other part about this is, like I said, not just about the house, right? Everyone cares about the house, but in addition to that, what am I getting, for the town itself? So, as we've talked about before, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you kind of get the sense for Southborough or just kind of Massachusetts in general and how the pricing works. So, in general, it's relative to the location of Boston and where you are, sort of relative to that. Prices tend to go, the further west you go, or the further away from Boston, I should say, you can go north or south as well. You know, prices tend to, get cheaper and cheaper. Southborough is all the way east within Worcester County and Central Mass. So Southborough is going to be most in the more or the most expensive within the Worcester County area. The great thing about it is the location. So you have Route 9 go right through it, Mass Pike goes right through it. 495 is literally a stone's throw from Southborough, even though it does go through, like the entry point goes through Westborough. Great spot location-wise from a commuter's perspective. From Route 9, you want to hop on the Mass Pike, do one of two ways, hop on 495 south and one exit down, you're on the Pike. Or you head east and you get right into Framingham, and then boom, you're on the Mass Pike going that way too. So from a commute perspective, great. Next up, hotspots, things to do. Southborough, it's pretty, even though it is, location is great, it really it has that country feel, really a country feel. You get the larger lot sizes, very few things to do. It's definitely your typical bedroom community. However, they do have a Starbucks and they do have, a couple restaurants, but they don't have your major grocery stores or major shopping areas, things like that. It's very small. They do have a dealership, things like that, right along Route 9. A lot of office buildings, that type of stuff. But the beauty of it, again, the location. So you're surrounded by these well-populated communities. To the east, you have Framingham, which is actually now a city, that all your high-end shopping, anything you can think of, Framingham would have it. In addition to a million different dealerships. You can go a little north, that's Marlborough. Big community for restaurants, even working offices, things like that. You go just one town over west, you have Westborough. Westborough has it all. Again, if you've seen any of my past videos, Westborough's got a lot as well. Route 9 filled with restaurants, shopping, different stuff like that. So from what you get from living in Southborough, you have great access to all sorts of shopping and, hotspots per se. So that is Southborough. Let's move on. Okay, so now we're on to Grafton. So Grafton, that is going to be a little further west from, let's say, Boston, and it's a little further west from Southborough. So, you're going to get a little bit more for your money. So in Grafton, for $1 million, you're going to get a 9-room, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath house that is larger in size. You're talking closer to the 2,500 square foot mark. It is currently priced at $999,000, so that is right at the $1 million mark. That being said, you kind of get a little bit more for your money in Grafton than, let's say, Southborough. You're also on about a half an acre lot for this particular house. The landscaping, you're going to have great outdoor space. Oh, definitely going to have a 2-car garage as well. You potentially may have finished basement space in addition to, your updated kitchens, bathrooms, because it's a newer home. Primary bedroom suite, going to be a nice size. And this particular home is in like a cul-de-sac type of community, neighborhood. So, you kind of get those, nice things just to be a little bit further out. Now, if you're talking commute, well, it's going to be a little bit longer to get. Even though Mass Pike goes right through Grafton, there's no entry point in Grafton to get onto the Pike. So you have to, the quickest way is to just head slightly west, not far. It's literally, the entry is in Millbury, which is literally right over the line from Grafton. But again, that's on the west side, so it depends on what part of Grafton you live in. If you're in a different part of Grafton, then it might make more sense to come out to 495, take some country roads out to 495, and then head up one exit to the Mass Pike that way. Of course, you can always go all the way into Westborough and get onto Route 9 and go that way to the Mass Pike. So definitely have options, but the commute is going to be a little bit further. Grafton does have the commuter rail stop. I will make a point too, I forgot to mention, Southborough also has that commuter rail spot as well. So another reason, both areas actually have the commuter rail. So in Grafton for hotspots, it does have a little bit more than what Southborough offers as far as the town itself from a restaurant perspective, some nightlife. We do have a couple bars in town, some restaurants, things like that would have some entertainment type of thing. Grafton is also right next to Westborough, so you can travel to Westborough or Millbury, nearby areas. Grafton's also closer to Worcester, so you have, that for nightlife as well. But Grafton itself does have some, restaurants in town. Again, not a big metropolis, doesn't have a ton of stuff, but it does have a little more than Southborough. So that pretty much sums up kind of what you get in Grafton. So let's move on to the next one. All right, so now let's talk about Leicester. So Leicester is going to be, the location of Leicester is a little further west. It's actually west of Worcester. So if you kind of look at a map, you have Southborough on this side of Worcester County and Leicester on the more west side. So back to thinking about what I was saying in general with Massachusetts and how housing prices tend to be generally priced. It's further away from Boston, therefore, less money. So here's the big shocker. In Leicester, I found a house for sale. It is actually on the market for $865. If you can believe it, I couldn't find anything more than that. This was the most expensive right at this moment. I'm sure that's not always the case, but right now. And this is actually 15 rooms. It has 5 bedrooms, 4 full baths. This is on over 2 acres, and this also has over 4,000 square feet. So this is quite the house. You have that, it's got that wraparound porch. It also has a 3-car garage. The kitchen is updated. It's a fairly, newer home. It offers a lot compared to what you get in Southborough, right? So, and this is only at $865. You're getting the over 2 acres, the over 4,000 square feet, more bedrooms, more bathrooms, the whole 9 yards. You're gonna find, finished basement space. So for those of you who aren't familiar in New England, we like our basements here. Now what about from the town perspective? So, your commute, odds are your commute's gonna be a little bit longer. The thing is if you actually work in Worcester, then it's not gonna be so bad because it's just west of Worcester. So it's not gonna be that long of a commute. But if you work more east, say you're east of Southborough, maybe you're in the Framingham area, or even more east than that, your commute can be a little hefty. Maybe you even work in Boston from Leicester, so that's definitely going to be well over an hour. There is a commuter location, of course, right in Worcester, and that is as far west as that commuter rail line goes. So from Leicester, if you wanted to take the commuter rail in, you'd have to drive yourself to Worcester and take it from there. Leicester in general is pretty rural, right? Doesn't have much. It has its convenience stores and gas stations, not a whole lot else. So it is definitely that rural feel. You want stuff, you're going to be going to Worcester for the nightlife for sure. Not too bad because, again, like I said, it's kind of the next area over. But in general, it's still, very rural. That is Leicester in a nutshell. All right, so let's recap what we just talked about. So we have Southborough. So in Southborough, for $1 million, you're going to get about a 2,000 square foot house. The 8-room, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Could be a little more square footage, but basically you're looking at right around the 2,000, 2,100 square feet. And it has a lot to offer from, things to do, but not right in Southborough, but, we're in the surrounding areas. There's a lot to do. So for Grafton, I found it's about 2,600 square foot home. This is closer to $1 million. It's right at $999. And this one, approximately half acre, but this one is in the neighborhood, kind of cul-de-sac neighborhood. which is nice. Gives you that real community feel, and also nice yardscape. They have some hardscape in there. They also had finished basement, so a lot to offer for inside the house. It's a newer home. That Southborough homes like 1980s. This one here was built, I want to say, the 2017-ish mark. So newer home. Grafton, it's a little further for commute if you have to head east. Grafton itself offers more than Southborough as far as the town itself. Has a few more restaurants, a few more things to do there. So that's Grafton. Leicester, I came up with this house. It's at $865, but it is over 4,000 square feet, not including the finished space in the basement. It's 15 rooms. It has 5 bedrooms, 4 full bath, and a 3-car garage. And it's on over 2 acres. So this house, if this is what you're looking for, it's got this wraparound porch. It's just a real nice looking New England style home with plenty of space and plenty of land to go with it. Downside is it's extremely rural. If you're looking for that type of living and that lifestyle, then that's definitely for you. You're going to have to travel a little further to get to kind of your major shopping areas, that type of thing. So that kind of sums up the 3 areas in Worcester County. So if you are still interested in moving into the Worcester County area, whether it's in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to reach out. My contact info is in the description, and I'd be happy to help you make that smooth move to Central Mass. And remember, call Steve, and we will achieve. See you on the next video.